welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the Thursday night showdown slate between the Green Bay Packers and whatever is left of the San Francisco 49ers. This is in San Francisco. As we will get to, the 49ers are just decimated with injuries. The Packers side also has some injuries, but not as much. It's mainly just at the running back situation. But anyways, let's get into the slate. So as always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button on the video, subscribe if you have not already. If you want to join, you can visit the website, links in description. If you want to follow on Twitter, that info is also in the description. And same thing with Thrive Fantasy if you're looking for a new site to play on. So currently the Packers are double-digit favorites, as you would expect. The 49ers, if we just look at their team specifically, they are without Kittle, without Brandon Ayuk, without Mostert, without Deebo Samuel, without Wilson, without Bourne, without Garoppolo, without Jordan Reed, without Coleman. So what's left, you ask? They have also Dante Pettis I think he signed with the Giants. Richie James is questionable. So currently the only wide receiver that doesn't have any injury is Trent Taylor, who is $400. He is been in his sporadic playing time this year, he's been okay with 9 catches for 77 yards. He is going to have to step up and be the number one option for Nick Mullins tonight. And now, you never will get a wide receiver one at $400. Obviously, things can happen, but at first glance, I find it extremely difficult not to have him in my lineup. So that will be at flex. I will not be having him at captain because you definitely do not need all that savings because, unless you want to get super crazy, but you just don't need that much savings. You're probably going to have, if you want to, you can leave as much money on the table. If you don't want to play Nick Mullins, then you definitely can leave money on the table. But if you do play Nick Mullins, you can use most of, if not all of your salary cap. Also depends on Aaron Jones. If he's out, then it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more people leave a lot of money on the table. But if Jones is in, then I think people, at least on DraftKings, will try to use up their salary cap. But Trent Taylor at $400, he looks like the best option point per dollar wise on the 49ers. If Richie James is in, he's only $200. He's going to have to line up and play a lot alongside Taylor, as they only have 2 active wide receivers if James is in. If James is out, then you're going to see a lot of Ross Dwelley at $4,800. He is a little bit priced up, but he's going to be their number one tight end, and no Jordan Reed either, so he's going to have to play quite a bit. They're probably going to have to bring up some practice squad members. I'm not sure who is going to be active. We'll have to wait on that, but I think Taylor is the safest bet. James is also a pretty safe bet to play, and then you're probably going to see a lot of 2 running back sets with, you could see McKinnon line up as a wide receiver quite a bit, so at $8,000, McKinnon looks fine. Jermichael Hasty did get the start, which was kind of surprising, but he didn't really do much. He had 12 carries for 29 yards, had a fumble, which he did not lose, but just didn't look that good last game. See if he's still going to get a lot of playing time because they're so banged up. And then Jerick McKinnon only had 3 carries, but he got into the end zone with 1. Pretty impressive that he had -1 yards on the ground and he still managed to get into the end zone. That helped me because I had him in the lineups. But 4 catches, 40 yards, he's going to have to play quite a bit, so I think he looks strong. And then probably going to consider Nick Mullins at $9,200 if you want to, just because you're going to have the ability to pay for him. There's a ton of value on the San Francisco side that I think I will try to get him in there. Even if he doesn't have a good game, like a handful of points is probably going to outscore almost every other player on the team. So those are the 2 guys that I really like from the 49ers side. And then on the Packers side, you have Devontae Adams as your most expensive player. He is 18.6. You can play him at captain if you want. He has just been incredible. One of the best wide receivers in football this season. Over 500 yards already. He's double-digit target easily. Multiple touchdowns easily in his 2 straight games. 5 touchdowns over the last 2 games in pretty soft matchups. But this matchup is not the easiest on paper. But with all the injuries, could see him have a similar line to DK Metcalf last week. So definitely play Adams. You definitely want to play Aaron Rodgers. If Ronald Jones is in, you play him at $9,800, and then with your $1,000 left, you could play Kyle Juszczyk if you want to, but that's probably going to be like if you play optimizers, you could see like this lineup be in a lot of people, so you can be a little bit different and maybe go with Tyler Irvin as a backup running back if Jones isn't 100% and they don't want him to play 100% of the snaps, or you could play Richie James and you kind of get a couple pieces. Well, you kind of stack Nick Mullins with his only two wide receivers if you do play Richie James at $200. So that's one way to go. You could be different and play like at captain. It's for me. It's only gonna be Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Jones if he's in. I'm not playing anybody else at captain. And then with this $7,000 left, you still definitely want to play Adams. You have $1,700 left. It's just to leave some more money on the table. You could still leave $1,500 on the table. See if anything changes if we decide to play Aaron Jones at captain. You're definitely going to save a little bit more money. You have $2,300 now. Still not getting enough. Still not getting up to be able to play like Valdez-Scantling, although that might be a good thing, just how poorly he's played this season. But he's only $3,400. He could be a way to be different on the slate. But there's not that much to talk about. On the kicker side, I'm rather go to, like, I might even go to Robbie Gould because I think he'll get less love and could see Mullins struggle to get inside the end zone. So even if they do manage to get inside the red zone, I could see him struggle to put it into the end zone. So could look at Robbie Gould as a cheap play. Robert Tonyan looks okay at $6,400 as well, but I kind of know exactly what pieces I'm going to attack from the Packers side. Jones a game time decision, but we'll definitely know if he's playing or not by the time things lock because it's only one game on the slate. But I think for core pieces, it's definitely like Adams, Rodgers, Jones. If he's in, he's going to be a core piece. I'm just leaving him out for now. But definitely Rodgers and Adams, and then I think Nick Mullins, just because you're going to be able to pay up for somebody on the 49ers side, and he's the only guy that looks okay as a pay-up option. And then definitely Trent Taylor at $400. Like these four should probably be in your lineup, I think. I mean, if you just play one lineup, they will be in mine. If you play a boatload, you definitely will have Adams and Rodgers and probably Taylor, and then you can mix and match Nick Mullins for your liking. So let's look at over on FanDuel, see how they're pricing. FanDuel's a little bit more interesting because you think it's easier to leave a lot more money on the table. Alrighty, over on FanDuel at MVP, your most expensive guy is Devontae Adams, so that is consistent across both sites. You have Rodgers, then Jones. I mean, if all of Jones is in, then I think everybody's going to play all three of them, which makes a lot of sense. And I definitely think I will too. I see the Packers winning this game easily, multiple touchdowns. I think the 49ers are going to have to get lucky to score some points tonight. But on the 49ers side, after you get through all these red players that are out, you have Nick Mullins at $12,000, which is okay. Hasty looks a little bit expensive at $11K. I think I'd rather take a shot on Jerick McKinnon, who's only $7,000 on FanDuel. So on DraftKings, McKinnon is more expensive. On FanDuel, he is $5,000 cheap or $4,000 cheaper. So definitely look at McKinnon over Hasty on FanDuel, and look at the wide receivers. You have both of them are $5,000. Trent Taylor and Richie James, if he's in, both are $5K. So let's start like Adams at MVP. At least you have some people flip-flopping between Adams, Rodgers, and Jones at MVP because I think all three of them have a case to be MVP. So that could be a way to be at least get a little bit different on FanDuel. Like everybody won't have the same exact lineup. But if I do play Rodgers, Adams, Jones, if he's in, leaves me $7,500 left. Now this is where you could, you're not going to be able to play CJ. You're not going to be able to play Nick Mullins. I mean, it leaves you with $3,000 left on the table. So if Jones is out, then you could play Nick Mullins and play whoever you want from the Packers running back side. But right now, if you play all three of those guys, then you're probably gonna have to go with, and I definitely do not mind it, like a Jerick McKinnon at $7,000 who's gonna play quite a bit with all the injuries. Could see him line up at wide receiver, and you could play Ross Dwelley. You could play Trent Taylor, who I just like because he's gonna probably be out there for 100% of the wide receiver snaps. Because right now he is the only wide receiver who is, in line to play this game. Richie James could definitely play, but questionable right now. But right now, Trent Taylor, do something like this, leave $3K on the table. If you want to do a entire Packers onslaught, you're gonna just miss getting Robert Tonyan at 10.5, going up from McKinnon. could play Crosby if you wanted to instead, but I kind of like having at least one. I mean, you're definitely going to need at least one 49ers, maybe two, just in case they are able to get into the end zone. Is hopefully you can kind of pick the guy that does score. But I think, and then on the Packers side, most of the touchdowns are probably going to come from Jones and Adams anyway, so not really missing anything there. So that's what I kind of like over on FanDuel. I definitely will have the big three on the Packers side, and then I think you can mix and match between Jerick McKinnon at 7,000. Maybe look at Ross Dwelly at 6,000 instead. Or you could do the two wide receivers and play Richie James and Trent Taylor and hope that both of them have pretty big games. So there's a couple ways to go, but definitely we'll have the big three over on FanDuel. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. There's not that much to talk about, but nevertheless, good luck tonight, and I'll catch you guys all back on probably Saturday.